Guys, the Jets looked about the same today. Completely the same. O-line was Swiss cheese. But hey, Zach Wilson had a better premier debut than Trevor Lawrence did. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the show, heck yeah, football is back, baby. And if you're a Jets fan like me, well, this is the time of year where you do a deep dive into why you're even alive. But we'll talk all about that along with basketball. We got to talk about baseball. The Yankees, what's going on there, man? Oh, they're so bad. But it's okay, friends, because I love talking about sports anyway. So stick with us because sports starts now!
Hey, shoot and score, the rocket slammer, and the Penguins make it 2-1.
Oh, what a shot from Curry! Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Gives it to Jenkins for the championship. Oh my God! Stay up! Oh my God! 30! No! 10!
And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you that are new to the show, first off, hello, hi, welcome, friends. That was not creepy whatsoever. No. For those of you that are new to the show, we like to talk about all the sports news and information from the previous week and give you some insight on the next week, month, year, etc. Now, of course, football season, baby, is back with us, and nothing gets me in a happier mood than football. So we'll talk a lot about that, among other things. If you like what you hear today, find me on Sports. Find me on Soundcloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. And if you can't already tell, I am sleep deprived. I got a 6-month-old little dude upstairs, and he likes to be awake all the time. It's awesome. I love the crying right in my ear. It's fantastic, friends. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, well, I had a fun weekend. What did we do? I went to a fair. I actually went to 2 fairs. I worked one, and one I just kind of hung around. Went out to dinner, took the baby out to dinner, and it was great. He slept the whole time. So, that was great. That was fun. How was your weekend? Was it good? Yeah. Tell me more. I like that. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Okay, well, now, here we go. Let's talk about all the sports stuff. I'm so pumped that football is back now. It's been a long season. It was cool seeing more fans in the stands. All right, now that I'm done romanticizing about football, let's take a look at the games from this weekend. On Thursday night, we had the Cowboys and the Buccaneers in a close one, 31-29. Dak Prescott, 403 yards and 3 TDs, but Tom Brady with 4 touchdowns. The Buccaneers ended up winning that one. Seahawks today got the win over the Colts, 28-16. Not so great for Carson Wentz in his debut, but he played fairly well, so that was good for him. Jaguars and Texans. Oh, Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, 332 yards, but 3 interceptions. Not the way you want to start your NFL career. The Texans got the better of them with Tyrod Taylor starting, and he had 291 yards, 2 TDs, and ran it for 40 yards as well. So way to go, Texans. Eagles beat the Falcons 32-6. Now this was a surprising one. I don't think anyone really had much hope for the Eagles going into the season or Jalen Hurts whatsoever, but he had 3 touchdowns himself. One to Smith, Rager, and Goddard. Oh, I have him on my fantasy team. Yippee! So good win there if you're an Eagles fan, or like all the people I interact with because I live in Philadelphia. Chargers get a win over the Washington football team, 20-16. Steelers beat the Bills, 23-16. That's a surprise in itself. Najee Harris, 16 carries, 45 yards. Claypool had a nice 25-yard carry in there, but only 188 yards of passing for Ben Roethlisberger. 49ers with a win over the Lions. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo in this QB tandem, I don't know what you want to call it, platoon. It was actually funny. Trey Lance threw a touchdown on his first drive, so good for him. But I think Garoppolo still had the majority of the snaps. Oh yeah, Trey Lance only had one attempt. So, but he made it count. So good win there for the 49ers. Bengals get a win over the Vikings 27-24 in OT. Panthers beat the Jets 19-14. Yeah, it was a close one, but really it wasn't. The Panthers kind of won most of that game, and the Jets really pulled it together towards the end. Cardinals got a win over the Titans 38-13. Kyler Murray continuing to dominate with 4 touchdowns. I'm sorry, apparently I'm bored. I'm yawning. I don't know. Chiefs get a win over the Browns, 33-29. You know Pat Mahomes up to his old tricks, 320. Oh, that's Baker Mayfield. 337 yards, 3 TDs. Mayfield, no touchdowns. Yikes. And an interception, 321 yards. Actually, you know what? He went 21 for 28, which is pretty darn good. Nick Chubb, though, 2 TDs, 83 yards on 15 carries. Dolphins got a surprise win over the Patriots this weekend. Tua with a touchdown and interception, and Mac Jones in his debut, 281 yards and a TD. Not so bad. Yeah, good for the Patriots, I suppose. Broncos destroyed the Giants. I mean, it was pretty bad. Teddy Bridgewater winning Broncos won 27-13. Bridgewater winning with 264 yards, 2 TDs. Gordon, 101 yards and a touchdown. And I gotta say, Von Miller looked pretty darn good coming back. He had 2 sacks actually on the day, so Von Miller looking like the Von Miller of old maybe. Daniel Jones had a serviceable day, 267 yards and a TD to Sterling Shepard. Saquon Barkley returning to the field. Not a great outing for him, 26 yards on 10 carries. Moving down the line, the Saints getting a win over the Packers, and not just any win, bad win. Oh my God, they killed them 38-3. Jordan Love even got in on the party on this one. Aaron Rodgers threw 133 yards and 2 interceptions. After all the whining from Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, that's the performance he puts on in what is possibly one of their toughest games of the year. Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns, but he only tossed 148 yards. They relied a lot on the rushing game, and for good reason. Kamara with 83 yards on 20 carries. Jones Jr. with 50 yards on 11 carries. So, but about 5 touchdowns. There I go again, yawning. I'm so tired. I'm such a tired boy. I said it last week. Winston's still a great quarterback. I think people have just forgotten about that, but 5 TDs, not bad. Rams and Bears. Now, that's the game that's going on right now. So, I don't have a final score at this exact moment. We'll check back in on this towards the end of the episode. But right now, it's 27-14 in favor of the Rams. Dalton with an interception. Matt Stafford, 2 TDs. In fact, I think he threw an 80-yard touchdown early on to Jefferson, which is pretty darn good. And while we're on the subject of Matt Stafford, apparently a story came out this week that he was almost traded to the Carolina Panthers. And you know what? That actually would have been a pretty good deal for Stafford, but he really wanted to go play with the Rams, and so that's that. So Panthers were going to offer, they were offering a prime first-round pick and Teddy Bridgewater. So Bridgewater almost ended up in Detroit. Good for Teddy, because the Broncos, I think, are a much better situation for him. San Francisco is going to lose Jason Verrett to a torn ACL. Raheem Mostert is getting a couple more tests on the knee. So the 49ers could be without some of their better players, including cornerback. Trey Lance, we talked about this. He entered the game, scored a touchdown. Saints signed Marshawn Lattimore to a 5-year, $97.6 million extension. He is now one of the richest cornerbacks in NFL history. Good for you, Marshawn Lattimore. Oh, man. Jacksonville made some crazy mistakes. When you have so many rookie quarterbacks this year, Jones and Wilson, Fields, Lance, and they had pretty good games. Not so much for Trevor Lawrence. Baltimore this week lost Marcus Peters and Gus Edwards to ACL injuries. One play to back-to-back plays during practice. I mean, losing Gus Edwards, that hurts. Now, granted, Lamar Jackson's going to do enough running for everybody, but that's really not what you want to see. By the way, I forgot to mention Ravens and Raiders. That's tomorrow, 8:15. And you know what? I think the Ravens are going to win that one. Raiders, they're not quite a good team. They're terrible. They're just plain terrible. 49ers. This is a great story. The 49ers were worried during the draft that the Patriots were going to trade up to number 3 so they can get Mac Jones. So what did the 49ers do? They traded up to number 3, and they grabbed Trey Lance. And then Mac Jones ended up falling to the Patriots anyway. So they gave up all those picks for what now? That one seems weird. That was a weird story that came out this week. A pipe burst at FedEx Field. So the Washington football team fans had a day at the water park, apparently. You know what? After all the stuff they've endured the last couple of years, those fans, this is just par for the course. Do we have a video of this? Hold on, see if there's a video. Oh, look at this.
That's sewage.
It's literally pouring on fans. That's hilarious.
That's how we celebrate.
Oh, I love it. Oh, Washington football team. Get a name already, guys. I'm sick of saying Washington football team. Get a real good name. One that respects all people and cultures, please. All right, what's coming up? Week 2, around the corner. Giants, they happen to play Washington. Washington didn't look so great in their debut. I still think they're the premier team in this division, but it's a close division. So, Giants, Washington, that could go either way. Steelers, I think, are going to beat the Raiders. Eagles and 49ers, that should be fun because the Eagles looked better today than I really expected. I think the 49ers will still pull it out. I think they're going to have a really good year. Browns and Texans, I see the Browns winning that one. Jaguars, Broncos, after the performance the Broncos put on today, I'm pulling for the Broncos in that one. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence only throws to his own guys and not the others. Saints and Panthers, that should be fun. Winston versus Sam Darnold. Ooh. I think the Saints are still the better team here, and they look pretty darn good beating up the Packers today, so pulling for the Saints. Rams and Colts. Well, that should be fun. The Rams looked pretty good with Matt Stafford leading the charge, and I think they're going to look really good against the Colts next week, too. Carson Wentz, not quite the guy. Not really. Bills and Dolphins. Bills are definitely going to be looking for a win next week, and I think they're going to beat up on the Dolphins. Patriots and Jets. You know what? It should be fun. Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. Two rookie quarterbacks, same division. They're going to see each other a lot the next few years, but the Patriots still have a stifling defense. They're still a good team. I got to go with the Patriots. As much as that kills me to say. Bengals and Bears, another fun one. I want to see Joe Burrow really go out there and sling the football, so I'm going with the Bengals on this. Falcons and Bucks for next week. Okay, yeah, Buccaneers are going to destroy them. That's not even going to be close. Cardinals, Vikings, Kyler Murray. I'm going with the Cardinals. Titans and Seahawks. Russell Wilson is still a baller. Henry didn't have a great game for Tennessee. Tannehill didn't have a great game. They're going to look to bounce back, but I don't think it's going to come against the Seahawks. Titans are going to start 0-2. Cowboys and Chargers. You know what? The Cowboys. I've been saying it for years. They're a great offensive team on paper, and it looks like this could be the year that things finally fall into place for Zeke, Dak, and Cooper. I really think the Cowboys are going to have a decent season and beat the Chargers, starting there. Chiefs and Ravens. That should be fun. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I kind of like that. Of course they put it in primetime, because why wouldn't they put that in primetime? Gee, I got to think about this. You know what? We haven't really seen what the Ravens can do yet this year. Will they lose a step? Are they still the best team in their division? Chiefs, meanwhile, we've seen what they can do, and it's basically more of the same. I'm very excited for this game. I still think the Chiefs are going to win it. Very excited, though. Packers-Lions should be a nice, easy win for the Packers. Oh, boy. Stop falling asleep, Nick. God. Let's get a check on that Bears-Rams game. It is 27-14 still with 3 minutes to go. Moving into baseball. We'll come back. No worries. Let's take a look at the standings. So Rays are on top right now with 89 wins. Blue Jays have sidled their way into second place and a wild card. How did they do it? By sweeping the Yankees. Yes, the Yankees are terrible. They went from wild card darlings and even just a few games behind the Rays to 9.5 games back, fourth place in their division. The Yankees either got to pull it together or they're going to have to make some changes in the offseason because it's not working. Red Sox are the other wild card team in there. They have 81 wins. So a lot can happen in the next few weeks. It's still not the end of the season yet. We got like 3 weeks to go, friends, so no worries. And then you have the Orioles. They're in dead last. AL Central. White Sox on top with 82 wins. They're running away with it. Indians have 69. They have a losing record. The Cleveland, soon-to-be Cleveland Guardians, I should say. And then you got the Tigers, Royals, Twins. In the West, the Astros. The Astros get a win. 83. They get a win. They have 83 wins. They're also running away with their division. Mariners 6.5 back. The A's kind of falling apart in here, while the Mariners, of all teams, I really thought the Angels were going to hit. But it's the Mariners that are up there. Again, they're still behind the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays when it comes to the wild cards. So I'm not really sure about that. In the National League, the Braves remain on top of the NL East. The Phillies were so darn close. Again, they're only 4.5 back. A lot can happen the next few weeks. But Phillies and Mets, man, you guys, either one had the division and then they just toss it aside to the Braves, per usual. Nationals are in last in the NL East, and the Marlins kind of down there as well. NL Central, 89 wins for the Brewers. They have run away with their division. Reds are behind them at 75 wins, and they're actually in the second wild card spot right now. The Reds, Cincinnati, could be making the playoffs. Giants in a while for them. Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates are behind. Cardinals still have a chance. Cardinals are still in it. Giants are so close to clinching their division. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. The Dodgers 2.5 games behind them. Both of these teams have over 90 wins and will probably clear 100. The Padres having a decent season, not the type we were expecting. We really thought it was going to be better for the Padres, but here they are, 18.5 games back from first place in the NL West. They're 1 game behind the Reds right now for that second wild card slot. The first one goes to the Dodgers, and realistically, if I'm a wild card team and playing one of these play-in games, I don't want it to be against the Dodgers. I mean, seriously. And then you got the Rockies and Diamondbacks, who are so far out of it that they're seeing Christmas. Max Scherzer, 3,000 strikeouts. He's been playing for 13 years. Can you believe that? 37 years old. He's won the Cy Young 3 times. I mean, Scherzer is definitely a Hall of Famer. He's the 19th player to have 3,000 strikeouts. Good for him. And, there's only 2 active players, by the way, with 3,000 active strikeouts. That's Justin Verlander is the other one. Toronto Blue Jays, 44 runs in 3 games versus Baltimore. I mean, that is... Yikes. Either that shows you how good the Blue Jays are or how terrible Baltimore is. Chris Archer on the injured reserve. That's definitely going to hurt the Rays as they push for something, anything. Oh, did we move to basketball? Looks like we're moving to basketball. Shaquille O'Neal is not happy with the whole Ben Simmons situation. So for those of you who have not been following, Ben Simmons of the 76ers has requested a trade. Here's the issue, friends. Most teams don't want Ben Simmons. He is a liability. He can do everything on the basketball court perfectly, except put the ball in the basket. I'm serious. He has all the tools. His shooting is abysmal, especially at the three-point line. So, do you want a superstar like that? He's not really the guy you can build a team around unless he decides to work on his shooting. Here's where the issue comes up. Instead of showing the people of Philadelphia or any team out there, hey, here I am practicing on the court, working on my game, getting better shooting, blah, 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 blah. No, instead he's posting pictures of him with Instagram models and driving Ferraris and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So Shaq had a lot of words for him. Let's see if I can find the direct quote. Yeah, Ben Simmons, you're not that good. In this league, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? You're not great. But if you want to get to that next level, you have to be great. And to be great, you have to work on your game. Don't be putting pictures up on your Instagram of you, Ferrari, or what actress you're hanging around with. Oh, Ferrari is his girlfriend? I thought it was an actual car. No, there he is with a Ferrari in this picture. Okay. Or what actress you're hanging around with. When you play for a down, like, that must be a typo. When you play for a town like Philadelphia, Boston, LA, Miami, hardworking town, they don't give a shnikey about none of that. They want you to come work hard and play hard. And he's right. He's right. The issue is no team wants him. Sixers are having a really hard time trading him because no team's going to give them jack right now. And they may end up having to trade him for nothing because that's all they can trade. They might have to give up somebody like Maxey, who's a great shooter, so that they can get something for Ben Simmons. But unless they can convince him to get back on the court for the Sixers and improve his trade value, they're stuck in limbo. Maybe they're just going to pay this guy until his contract's up. You know, Simmons is 22 years old. He's just a kid from Australia. Here in America, I shouldn't even say in America, on the East Coast, the Northeast Coast, if you're not producing, it's a problem. I'm from New York. I live here in Philly. I know my friends up in Boston. We're hard on our players. But you know what? If you show that you're working hard too, they respect that. So work a little harder, buddy. Or at least show to us you are. I don't know. All right, we can move on because I could rant and rave about Ben Simmons all day. 9 teams. What is this? Oh, no. Sorry. Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, 16. 2 of the 16 inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, the class of 2021. Do we have a list of who got in? Let's see. Gee, I don't have that list here. Let's see. Basketball Hall of Fame. Bill Russell as a coach? Very nice. Let's see, does this just talks about Boston. Can I get a darn list somewhere? Weber, Wallace. This is the committee. Oh, okay. So you have Rick Adelman, Chris Bosh, Yolanda Griffith, Lauren Jackson, Paul Pierce, Bill Russell, like I said, as a coach, Ben Wallace, Chris Webber, Jay Wright. Really, Jay Wright. Good for you. Bob Dandridge, Pearl Moore, Tony Kukoc. I always mess up his name. Clarence Fats Jenkins. Okay. Val Ackerman. Cotton Fitzsimmons. Greatest name ever. Howard Garfinkel. Yeah. Very good. Congratulations. Basketball Hall of Fame. That's a big deal. Marc Gasol has been traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies. So welcoming back to the Grizzlies, but he won't be playing any games there. They're going to release him almost immediately. It's going to save the Lakers about $10 million in salary and a luxury tax hit. Plus, they got the draft rights to Wang Zalin. Cool. So good for Marc Gasol. He gets to at least end up back with the Grizzlies. Maybe retire. He might retire. Toronto Raptors were approved by the Canadian government to play in Toronto. That's great. Good for them. Good for them. I don't think anyone wanted to see more of the Buffalo Raptors or wherever. And since we're on Canada, let's talk hockey. Sidney Crosby will be sidelined for the next 6 weeks with a wrist injury. Turns out this was something he's had going on for a while. They thought it would be over. They thought they could treat it conservatively. But it looks like he'll need surgery, so he'll be out 6 weeks. That means he'll miss the entire preseason and the first 2 weeks. So that could be about 6 or so games, upwards of 6 games. So definitely a hurt for the Penguins. They wanted Malkin to start the season too, so it might be a rough couple games to start. Can we talk about the U.S. Open? I know I'm not really a tennis guy, and it doesn't come up often on here. Djokovic, losing in the final. He could have won his first ever. The first. He could have been the first player to win the Grand Slam title. All the games, all the Grand Slams in 1 year. Is there a name for that? The quadruple crown? I don't know. But in the women, this young lady, Raducanu, I'm so sorry. Emma Raducanu, we'll just call her Raducanu, basically upset everybody. She was a qualifier. She's not a ranked player and won the U.S. Open. I mean, that is incredible. If you haven't been following this story, start following this story, please. Please. And one last thing that I thought was interesting, it's not necessarily sports-related, but kind of sports-related. A British golf club unearthed a log coffin from the Bronze Age, a 4,000-year-old coffin with the body buried inside. Turns out they were renovating. I think they were building a pond and digging and just happened to come across this thing. So, yeah, that's interesting. So next time you go play golf... Oh, shoot. I didn't say what course it was. All right, well, we lost it. I'm sorry, friends. Go Google that one. Skull, 4,000-year-old body found in park, whatever. 2 minutes to go in the Rams-Bears game, but the Rams are kind of running away with this one. It's 34-14. Let's get an update here. Oh, Justin Fields got in there a little bit. Matt Stafford, 3 TDs, 321 yards. Let's see. We talked about the one to Jefferson. He threw one to Kupp. Kupp, by the way, has 108 yards. Nice. Henderson rushed one in for a touchdown as well. So, Rams definitely having a good game. And with that, friends, I think that's all I had to talk about today. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, chatting with you, talking with you. If you like what you heard, find us on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. That's me. And you can email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Now... Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She's the content editor, logo designer, and set designer of this podcast. Per usual, I got to thank my social media warriors, Gary and Mary Kay Albert. Thank you. Keep sharing us on Facebook, friends. Any of you, if you're a fan, share it. Be like, hey, you heard this guy? He's awesome. He's hilarious. If you've made it this far in the show, I'm so proud of you. Love that you're listening. Love you guys. You're all awesome. And, I've got to go soothe the crying baby. I'm sure he's going to wake up any second. So with that, friends, have a delicious night. Caw-caw!